basis, NAS and S&P tied for a loss of about 1.3, 1.4%. Well, as the credit markets continue to feel pain, vultures are swooping in on muni bonds. Billionaire investor Wilbur Ross spending more than $1 billion in municipals. Apparently this was on Friday. Now he has said that some of that included municipals out of the state of California, biggest economy in the nation. Joining us now, California State Treasurer Bill Lockyer. Pleasure to have you with us, Mr. Lockyer. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Aaron.
When we were just talking a moment ago about the comments out of Mr. Geithner, Frank Governor Geithner, and also what Thornburg is going through today, do you think that we are anywhere near improvement in the overall credit market?
It doesn't feel like it. So, I don't have my hands on all of the measurement tools, but it feels like there's still plenty of problem and new surprises are likely.
New surprises are likely. You, as the state of California, have, perhaps with some pain and agony yourself, been able to issue some municipal bonds.
Yes.
Are you going through with plans here in the future? Are you putting more on hold? You were the only ones able to get anything done this week so far.
Well, yeah, we had a really good week, actually, $1.75 billion, and most of it were retail orders by individual investors. So they saw, as we've often heard, good deals can be made in municipals, the tax-exempt benefits and so on. So we found the bulk of this issue were individual buyers, and then, of course, institutionals were doing their share as well. So we still expect during the course of the year that we'll be back to the market a number of different times. California has lots of infrastructure needs that are unmet and unfinanced, and what we try to do is periodically go as much as $10 billion a year to try to finance those needs.
All right. Now, and you just said you did 175 this week. Now, Wilbur Ross is saying he's getting an interest rate of 5.3% on the California munis that he purchased. That is a high rate. I mean, and that is a rate that you're paying, the state of California is paying, California taxpayers are paying above and beyond what they ordinarily would.
Well, yes. The last year, I think the peak was 5. So 30-year bonds now at 5.3 is correct. That's what the market is currently. And what we've seen is over the last few decades, about 78% of the California issues have been above that number. And so we're still down in a reasonable range, but it does mean, of course, that borrowing costs have gone up a little bit.
Well, it's interesting you put it in context there. I mean, in terms of, some people trying to say it has never been so horrible. You do give it important context. One thing that you did, though, this week, very crucial, and it links to the letter that you wrote, which I know many viewers may have read, and viewers can, of course, read. It is public. A letter that you wrote about the municipal bond rating situation.
Yeah.
This week, though, you went to market without getting insurance on your bonds. You didn't use MBIA, you didn't use AMBAC. In fact, you didn't use anybody. Is that going to be the way it is from now on? No more insurance for the state of California?
No, it really depends on the time and the issue. We'll insure when we think it's economically beneficial, and we won't when we think we can do fine without it.
Do we need the bond insurers anymore, though?
Yeah, I think so. And it just varies with the circumstances. Of course, they're having so many other collateral difficulties these days that it does raise the question of what the prices are going to be and whether your yield is affected that much if you're uninsured. So we found in this instance we didn't need it.
Right, you didn't need it. Now your letter is even more specific because it says that given the rate of default for municipal bonds, which is pretty much zero for all intents and purposes, compared to the rate of default for other things out there, companies, just as one example,
right.
You're not rated the same way.
Yeah, there's
it's
two
much harder
different
for you
standards.
To get a good rate. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's two different standards of rating that the rating agencies do. A corporate one and then state and local government municipal standard. And it's unfair. It's confusing to investors to have two different. And what happens is a corporate AAA will default by one of the rating agencies' tests 4 times as much as B's in a municipal market. So it just doesn't make sense. It means the interest rates go up, the insurance costs go up. For California and other issuers around the country, it's costing us billions of dollars every year unnecessarily that taxpayers shouldn't have to pay.
And last word before we go, billions of dollars that taxpayers shouldn't have to pay. If you do win some of your efforts to try to change the way that things are rated, who would pay you back for that money? Would it be Moody's and S&P?
Well, pay us back? Oh, we're not going retroactively at all. It's just in the future we think that if there's unlikelihood of default, that the rating agencies ought to rate risk. And if the risks are infinitesimal, then they ought to be AAAs. And that just means the interest rates will be lower, the insurance costs will be lower. That's good for taxpayers.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate Mr. Lockyer. Thank you for joining us. An interesting idea when you think about if they really are right on the ratings, whether you should have some retroactive penalties or not. But now let's continue to talk about